Juan Francisco Estrada is the younger man, 29 years old, 3 years younger than Sor Rungvisai. Estrada is 1 inch taller at 5'4". They both did not have a dramatic weight gain after they weighed in under the limit of 115 pounds, but it is Juan Francisco Estrada with the reach advantage, 68 inches to 63 inches. Srisaket Sor Rungvisai is the world champion. Here are the rules. There's no 3 knockdown rule, no standing 8 count. You cannot be saved by the bell in any round. Only the referee can stop the fight as well. Let's go to the ring now, and Michael Buffer.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the fabulous forum here in Englewood, California, serving the greater metropolitan Los Angeles area, this is the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Super Flyweight Championship of the World. And it's all brought to you by Mr. Eddie Hearn from Matchroom Boxing USA, presented in association with Dazn Promotions and NKO Promotions, sponsored by Tecate, the official beer of boxing, and M150 energy drink, along with JD Sports. Sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, Chairman John Carvelli, Executive Officer Andy Foster, and the World Boxing Council, President Mauricio Suleiman, Supervisor in attendance Peter Abdul. The 3 judges scoring this contest: Craig Metcalf, Gerald Ritter, and Alejandro Rochin. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, World Championship veteran Ed Coyantes. And now, the fighters are in the ring and they are ready. The officials at ringside are in position and they are ready. Boxing fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, the challenger, wearing black with silver, official weight 114.6 pounds. His professional record, 38 victories, including 26 big wins by knockout, only 3 defeats. From Puerto Penasco, Sonora, Mexico, the former Super Flyweight Champion of the World, El Gallo, Juan Francisco Estrada. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, wearing yellow with red, officially weighing in at 114.2 pounds. His professional record, an outstanding one. 47 victories. 41 of those victories by knockout, with 4 defeats and 1 draw. And for the past 5 years, he's undefeated in 20 consecutive fights. Ladies and gentlemen, the reigning, defending WBC Super Flyweight Champion of the World, Srisaket Banghet, a.k.a. Srisaket Sor Rungvisai.
Switch to flags. Here. Gentlemen, you are fighting for the WBC Super Flyweight World title. You have received your instructions in the dressing room. I want to remind you to obey my commands at all times and protect yourself at all times. Here and above is good. Here and above is good. Remember, when I say stop, I mean stop. Let's go.
Juan Francisco Estrada said he has watched that first fight against Sor Rungvisai about 5 times. He says he still thinks he won, but he knows he has to do more here tonight to get a victory.
Doc. You ready?
I forgot about the ceremonial flag swap that happens before fights.
That's nice.
Sergio, you flag swap?
I missed that. Out of Thailand and out of Mexico. Here we go, round number 1. Championship of the world at 115 pounds. Right away, Estrada is throwing hard. So is Sor Rungvisai.
Now they're swapping punches, Chris, because they're coming out fast like Estrada promised.
And you can see the length from Estrada as well. He has the reach advantage by quite a wide margin. He says he'll be more active and sees the initiative early as he lands a jab. The chance of Mexico start up right away here in Englewood. Estrada has the crowd behind him early as Sor Rungvisai, until that shot, didn't really look on balance.
Estrada is known as a boxer first, a puncher second, and Sor Rungvisai is known as a puncher first and an aggressor second. If Estrada can come out aggressive and end up boxing, this could be a good fight for him.
You can already tell a difference in this fight, a very different pace for both these guys. It was a slow start to the first one, different story in this one.
Sor Rungvisai won this WBC belt, shocking Chocolatito in March of 2017. At a time again where Chocolatito was considered the best fighter in the world, pound for pound. And then he came back 6 months later, cemented his position by knocking out Gonzalez in the 4th round. Ended that fight with 2 knockdowns in the 4th. He looks very calm, very composed here in the 1st round of this rematch.
I love how sharp Estrada looks so far. There's a confident look in his face. The body language is there. He's ready to counter, step back. Beautiful punching on his part.
Lots of punches already, and the length is in Estrada's favor. Able to land his jab. As Sor Rungvisai just calmly peers ahead. Looking to land body shots as he gets close. Sergio, I don't know if I've ever seen a calmer look on a fighter in the middle of a firefight like this.
I mean, both guys have their poker faces on. They're both tremendous punchers. Big shot there. And he goes back down to the body, Estrada does.
So Rungvisai has to back up. Maybe he's calm, maybe he's flat. It's hard to tell. So Rungvisai does he have a proper lather going? I have to ask that question. I don't know. You know, in the locker room, we saw both fighters. Estrada was shadow boxing, throwing hard shots, and Sor Rungvisai was meditating. Now, there's a time for that, but he looks almost too calm here in the 1st round as he eats another jab.
This is calm violence on both parts.
All Estrada in round 1.
Don't back down, don't back down. Okay, go forward, go forward. Be calm. Jab, 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 jab. Move your head, move your head. Left, left, right.
Cuando se ponga derecho, maneja la mano izquierda.
No stance. Show the right hand. Go for the lever. You got it, man. You got it, him. Show the right hand. Don't get confident, Juan.
You want to be calm and you want to be confident and poised in the ring. Sor Rungvisai, to me, I don't know if he's that, Sergio, or if he's flat. But he, I think, is going to need to get more fired up here to answer the firefight from Juan Francisco Estrada.
In my opinion, I think he's a little bit flat, and he's a little bit intimidated how sharp and crisp Estrada is so early right now.
Estrada throwing hard hooks after the jab as well. Answers back with a right hand over the top. Estrada straight up the middle. Estrada is sharp.
Something to keep in mind, while Sor Rungvisai says he did not have a problem making weight. We were in his hotel room last night. It looked like he was struggling to get those last few pounds off. Will that be a factor in this fight tonight?
Hard hook there from Sor Rungvisai. Yeah, he was able to make weight. And they had the full day after the weigh-in. to regain that weight. How much weight did he regain?
Just about the same between the two of them. Both these guys weighed in today at 127 pounds.
So not a drastic gain from either man, but early on, just a difference, as we said earlier, in just the body language, in the visage of the fighter, in the aura of the fighter. Estrada is in fight mode, and Sor Rungvisai is just not on point as of yet. It's early, round 2.
I just love the counter shots, the confidence in the punches that Estrada's throwing. He's just crisp, he's confident in there. Everything is not really landed cleanly, but it's keeping Sor Rungvisai on his toes and not really careful. He's careful about punching.
Estrada is able in all of his fights to go to the body and the head and throw combinations. In his first fight against Sor Rungvisai, he said he had a back injury and he was only able to throw 2 or 3 punches at a time. He said in this fight, you're going to see 5, 6 punch combinations. Good hook and a right hand from Estrada. And a hook again. He's able to land. And now Sor Rungvisai answers back.
Good body shot there by Estrada.
There's just not a lot of bounce in his step, Sergio, Sor Rungvisai. There's not a lot of electricity coming from his body.
Well, he's more of a flat-footed fighter because he tries to get a lot of leverage. He has one of the highest knockout ratios in boxing. It's Estrada that has the bounce. He's the boxer puncher, like I said earlier. He can switch and adapt.
He's just not as active as we normally see him.
That's because he's leery about what's coming back. Estrada's that sharp. He has to watch out. Every time his hands leave his face, he has to watch out for a counter. That's why he's not as active.
Brief explosion there from Sor Rungvisai, and a hard right hand. And Estrada takes a backward step.
Big shot. Estrada took it well.
Maybe he is waiting for a counter, just viewing his man. Hard shot there by Estrada and a pretty good round. We'll be at the T-Mobile Arena next week. We hope you join us. The middleweight championship of the world. Canelo Alvarez taking on a top challenge in Daniel Jacobs. You heard him say that he's fought tougher opponents. He had to get through a cancer scare, had to battle that. He has gone back to the mountaintop, and now will challenge Canelo Alvarez for the middleweight title next week right here on Dazn from Las Vegas. Right here, the World Championship at 115 pounds. Ring Magazine champ, WBC champ, Srisaket Sor Rungvisai in the yellow trunks against a very motivated Juan Estrada in the black.
Motivated and firing on all cylinders. Right now he turned a left hook into a left uppercut that landed cleanly on Sor Rungvisai.
And Brian, to your point about activity, the first 7 rounds of the last fight, Sor Rungvisai averaged about 64 punches per round. That activity has gone way down, at least these first 2.
Just the way he opened the fight did not look the same. Estrada, by the way, averaging 78 punches per round. He averaged only 48 through the first 6. And you see there, 67 to 31 through the first 2. So a much higher work rate from Estrada early on, although the power is still there, as you see. Both men trading. Again, a lot of fans don't drift down this far to this weight class, right? Under bantamweight, a lot of fans, sometimes they're not attracted to this, the mainstream fans, and a lot of it has to do with the lack of power. That is not what we're seeing with these 2 fighters here.
No, we are not. When it comes to these smaller weights, these flyweights, we rely on activity. They land a lot of punches. They have to throw a lot more punches because they don't take their man out. That's what makes it exciting, but it's too far in between as far as superstars that come along the way.
That was a hard slapping right hand from Sor Rungvisai, and then a body shot as well. So while he is not as active, when he throws a shot, it's pretty hard. Estrada must respect that.
What a clean counter right hand over a lazy jab, Estrada.
Yeah, that reach advantage is significant, Sergio, isn't it? I mean, he is able to land. It's like Junior Jones when he was fighting at 122. He's able to land against a guy like Marco Antonio Barrera. And
Sor Rungvisai has proven to have a little difficulty with taller opponents. That's what happened in his last fight with Iran Diaz. You know, he struggles a little bit having to punch up.
Sor Rungvisai able to land there, though. And you can see the power that he possesses. Good right hand from Estrada and a hook as well. Estrada just very active. There's a three-punch combination. I mean, almost effortless coming off his shoulders. Sor Rungvisai saying he knows what to expect from Estrada. Said if Estrada, though, doesn't want to take a step back, that will be in his favor. I don't know if that's been the case so far. Oh, right hand landing there and a scoring shot. Estrada defensively sound and offensive minded.
Vamos al cuarto apenas. Dame la vaselina. Vamos al cuarto, Ey, no te confíes, Juan. Sigue subiendo las manos. Ahorita te metió un golpe y te aventó para atrás. Métele un buen gancho al hígado, Juan. Quiero ver un buen gancho al hígado.
Hook to the liver, hook to the liver. I want to see a better round. Use the left hand. Be careful, Gallo. In the chin. Stay. Now.
Vamos,
Go.
You saw Estrada's wife, Diana, there in the crowd. There were a number of Estrada followers who were pumping their fists out in the crowd at the way this fight has started through the first 3 rounds for Juan Francisco in the ring. He has looked terrific. Chris, how do you score it so far?
I got it 2 rounds to 1 for Juan Francisco Estrada. I thought Sor Rungvisai landed some big punches in that early part of the last round. One area, though, that I think Estrada's benefiting from is in the last fight, he said those early rounds, feeling the power of Sor Rungvisai, he had to adjust to it. He's felt it already, so he knows what to expect coming back.
Not only that, but in the first fight, Estrada said that he had a hurt right knee. That doesn't seem to be the case. He's bouncing and boxing beautifully so far.
He's had surgery on his hand. He mentioned back issues, knee issues, and he didn't want to make an excuse for the last fight, but he said he just couldn't prepare the way he normally does. He says for this fight, he was 100%, and we would see a very different fight. He's been true to his word so far. Good work there by Sor Rungvisai. Sor Rungvisai was an established Muay Thai fighter in Thailand, had 100 wins as a pro, and then he was looking to make a little extra money. He went with a friend to Japan, tried to make some money as a fighter. And Chris, we've talked to him about this. He not only lost his first 2 fights, he got knocked out in his first 2 fights.
His career arc fascinates me. He goes to Japan, the first 2 fights in his pro boxing career, and he loses, and then he finally hooks up with the guys in his current gym.
Well, he said he came back from Japan. He was flying back to Thailand after he'd gotten knocked out in his first 2 fights. He said he was bruised, he was cut, he was hurt, he was disappointed, but he said to himself, this will never happen again. 10 years later, he is the champion of the world.
Look at this action. This is brilliant boxing. They're both fighting hard. This is the new age Mexican style, in my opinion. Estrada can back up and counter, but he can still dig down to the liver.
Estrada should use that length. I mean, he's got terrific length on that jab. The right hand can land from far away, much farther away than Sor Rungvisai can. But yeah, you're right, Sergio. He can step in and deliver.
Estrada takes pride in his defense and his distance, and that's what I mean by Mexican. The Mexican style usually is chest to chest, punch for punch, take 2 to land 1. That's not the case with Estrada here.
So Rungvisai now goes southpaw, and he says, hey, bring it, man. But the thing is, those are scoring shots from Estrada. He is building a lead.
Whenever a guy says bring it, it means they got hit.
10 seconds.
Now Sor Rungvisai advances, but in the final seconds, and that's the end of the round.
Breathe. I need you to breathe. You gotta walk forward.
Work. He's bruised now. He's bruised. And keep your legs active. Keep your legs active. Keep your legs active. And walk forward. You need to walk. You need to walk forward. Jab. Jab. Jab left. Jab left. And work that left.
And if you wonder why Sor Rungvisai has been a little bit discouraged in his offense, this is why. When a fighter knows how to step back and make you pay and come up short, you start getting leery about falling off balance with your punches.
Here at the Forum in Englewood, California, Brian Kenny with Chris Mannix and Sergio Mora ringside. Todd Grisham, Sugar Ray Leonard, LZ Granderson here as well. Round 5. And to me, Sergio, Sor Rungvisai, if he's to retain his title, has to get more aggressive. He just can't stay back in this position and win this fight.
Look,
can't win rounds.
He has the power to change this fight with one punch. But so far, it's just been an Estrada show. So, and yes, I agree with you. Sor Rungvisai needs to do something and needs to do it quick.
Keep him up.
You see in round 4, Estrada outlanding Sor Rungvisai. That's not by a wide margin, certainly. But he's had good quality shots as well. And Chris, I mentioned to you that he had that exciting fight against Chocolatito Gonzalez in 2012. And he had this exciting fight last year against Sor Rungvisai, but those are losses. What he needs is a signature win, like the win that he had over Brian Viloria.
Yeah, and you get the sense he knows that too. Like, this is a personal fight for Juan Francisco Estrada. He's been waiting for this ever since that last fight ended a little over a year ago.
And he's always had the fire. In that win over Viloria, that was in 2013, he averaged 111 punches a round over the final 4 rounds. And he said he was at his best in that fight. Estrada looks terrific so far here tonight.
Sor Rungvisai has been switching orthodox. This entire round, he's been an orthodox fighter, a right-handed fighter. He's a southpaw. That shows me that he's frustrated. He needs to get in on Estrada somehow, some way.
He's been mostly orthodox in this fight, hasn't he, Sergio?
Yes, he has, but he's a southpaw. He's a natural southpaw. That shows that he's not comfortable in there because he's getting peppered every time he comes in.
Yeah, peppered right there, too. A right hand lands, and now another jab and a right hand. A lot of scoring shots from Estrada. Another good stiff jab from Estrada.
Look, switching from orthodox to lefty may work in Muay Thai because you're more of a square stance, but not in boxing. In boxing, you have to be sideways. You don't want to give your man too much body. And if you're not accustomed to fighting in that style, you're just going to continue to get hit with needless shots.
Well, it is interesting because if it's a tactical decision, it's not a very good one because he's down right now in the cards.
Good point.
And he's just not as aggressive.
No, good point. That's just sheer frustration on his part.
He's flat-footed while Estrada is up on his toes and landing. There's more punches coming back the other way from Estrada. He's just going to have to pick up the overall intensity in order to win rounds and win this fight.
10 seconds.
Right hand there by Sor Rungvisai.
They are mentioned that he has pain in the both hands. They got you. Hands up, they got you. Hands up. They are mentioned that he has pain in both hands.
This has been the story the entire fight. So Rungvisai coming in, Estrada backing up with a little slight step coming, but coming back and making him pay. That is discouraging if you're an aggressive power puncher.
In the body on the left. Yeah, keep your legs active. Hit him on the body with the left. Breathe, breathe, breathe.
That's an interesting point in his corner. Keep your
Breathe,
legs active. I would say in this fight, his legs have not been active. He is not propelling forward with menace. He's just kind of laying back, waiting for his shots, landing occasionally, but it's Estrada who's taking the initiative. Chris, how do you score it so far?
I've got it 4 rounds to 1 for Estrada, and we've talked about some close rounds. I don't think the rounds Estrada won were particularly close.
See, that's the difference there. We speak about that a lot here on the Dazn broadcast, because when you get a fight scored at the end and people are outraged, you have to pay attention. How many rounds could a judge reasonably swing either way? And I'm glad you pointed that out, that these Estrada rounds are clearly for Estrada.
And I tell you, Brian, to Sergio's earlier point, once again, Sor Rungvisai is coming out fighting as an orthodox fighter. It's going to be interesting to ask him after the fact whether it was strategy or if it was something physical.
Estrada landing a hook as he stepped away there as well. And he stays on his toes. A little shuffle back and forth. He's feeling it. He lands a right hand. Sergio, he's feeling it.
He's been feeling it. This is what I'm talking about. This isn't your typical, stereotypical Mexican. He's boxing. He's fighting Mexican style here, but he's fighting beautifully.
So Rungvisai goes to the body. He's got to try to do something here to change the equation. Body and head again from Estrada. And there's a combination from the champion.
I mean, these are two of the best fighters in the world. But right now, Juan Francisco Estrada is having a pound-for-pound performance.
Sergio, I just don't see the fire from Sor Rungvisai. I don't see it. I mean, it's one thing if you're landing a lot of counter shots, and there's a good right hand, but he has not had that success. And we're in round 6. You know, it's time.
Look, that's what happens when you face sharp counter punchers. Look, Floyd Mayweather made a career of getting the output of aggressive power punchers low, because you're just checking them. Every time you open up, you just check them. It's discouraging, Brian.
Final minute of round 6 here at the Forum. It's been an excellent fight for Estrada, somewhat less than explosive so far.
So Rungvisai right there showed his frustration. He got really close. He just wanted to get as close as possible because he knows on the outside he's getting peppered and countered.
And those are beautiful short jabs and right hands from Estrada. Estrada with a beautiful display here in the final 30 seconds. Another right hand. He is finding his target again and again. Sor Rungvisai tries to the body, it got blocked. Estrada also able to keep it on the outside, but he buries the hook.
Great body shot there by Estrada. That caught Sor Rungvisai's attention. Just a beautiful performance. He looks like an artist in there.
And able to back up the champion as the bell rings. At the middleweight championship of the world, the return of Canelo Alvarez should be a great test. Should be a great fight next week in Las Vegas. Here in Englewood, California, round 7, championship of the world. Super flyweight division, the Ring Magazine champ is Srisaket Sor Rungvisai, and that title is very much up for grabs. Juan Francisco Estrada has been terrific tonight. Chris, how about that last round?
Gave it to Estrada, 5 rounds to 1 on my count, for my card, for Juan Francisco Estrada.
Can there be a case that it's 6 rounds to none?
Absolutely. Third round, so. Close round. On my card.
I think the CompuBox stats here are a pretty good indication of the way it's gone on.
And look at those numbers, Brian. Last fight, they were flipped in favor of Sor Rungvisai being the far more active fighter at this stage of the fight.
Look at Estrada there standing in front of the champion and saying, no, man, this is my night. My night.
And it looks like his night because Estrada's doing everything well. And I'm glad you said that it could probably be a shutout, because in my opinion, Juan Francisco Estrada is pitching a shutout.
And you know what, that's not just taunting. That's him saying, no, do something to me. Go ahead, I'm ready to box. I'm ready to box. Good right hand, Sor Rungvisai slipped. Wow, landed a right hand, and then a second later went down, but ruled a slip.
That's a good observation, BK, because that's exactly what Estrada wants Sor Rungvisai to do. He wants him to get aggressive. Come forward so I can get you with the harder shots. Help me knock you out.
That's a good uppercut by Estrada as well. Ed Coyantes again ruling that as a good hook. Lands from Sor Rungvisai. There is power in those shots. Right hand just touches Estrada. Maybe Estrada's better just, hey, box and leave this guy. Let's not rile this guy up.
That's what the crowd does. When the crowd's chanting Mexico, they're on your side. It brings the macho out of you.
I mean, the only chance it seems Sor Rungvisai has now, but it's improbable, Chris, but it's not impossible, a one shot. But this guy has that one shot.
You know, the two fighters in the ring, Sor Rungvisai has that potential. And Juan Francisco Estrada seems to be walking through even the biggest of punches that Sor Rungvisai is throwing at him.
And he answers to the body as well. And now a right hand to the head.
I noticed that too, Chris. Even when Estrada does get hit, the adrenaline is so high right now that he'll eat it up like Pac-Man.
Look at Estrada coming forward with jabs and right hands again. Just out of distance now as Sor Rungvisai does briefly go to southpaw. Will he try this the rest of the way? No, he won't. Sliding back and forth, but he has not been effective.
No le echen agua. El otro, tantito.
Don't put water, don't put water. Keep it.
¿Cómo lo sentiste? Se está blanqueando por esos ganchos. Se está blanqueando por los ganchos.
He's feeling the hooks. A great round. He's gonna attack you. There are mentioned that he is feeling pain in both hands, but now he's feeling better.
El 8.
Round 8 is coming. We're doing good. Keep pushing.
As if things weren't bad enough for Sor Rungvisai, right here, he slipped and he looked at the referee and said that was not a knockout. Because if that would have been counted a knockout, he would have been behind on points way much to catch up, in my opinion.
We expect that he is far down on the cards already. Yeah, a knockdown would have really swung it and maybe out of range completely. Srisaket Sor Rungvisai briefly goes to southpaw, now turns back to orthodox, and basically it's slipping away. But Sergio, Chris, it shouldn't be a shock. He came out flat from the get-go, from the first round.
He did. He wasn't throwing the same volume of punches, and he wasn't throwing with the same type of authority. This is a guy that in the last fight, everything he threw had something big on it. It's just not the same guy as we saw a little over a year ago.
Not the same fighter at all. The fierceness, the competitiveness, the menace, not there.
And let's give Estrada credit. He came into this fight with a different mindset, said he was physically stronger, and he's showcasing it tonight.
Oh, look, he has boxed beautifully throughout this fight. There's no question.
I was going to say that, and I hopefully Sor Rungvisai doesn't blame weight issues either, because I think Estrada is making Sor Rungvisai fight this fight.
You can't swear up and down that your weight was fine and then blame weight issues, at least in my opinion. If you say you're fine, you're fine.
Good hook there by Sor Rungvisai. Able to answer, at least briefly, with a little success. He's got to get something to build off of here. He's got to change the equation in some way. What he has tried so far has not worked. And he is not bringing the pressure that would be necessary to back up Estrada. Estrada is comfortable, as you can see, and active.
I like that swagger from Estrada. Shakes his head, shakes it off, comes right back, Sor Rungvisai.
Yeah, he comes back and starts punching. Right, it's not taunting, it's not messing around. It's I'm boxing. Let's box. A little three-punch combination right off his head, right there.
He's telling him, this is my night. There's nothing you can do. Even when you land a punch, nothing's gonna happen. This is my night tonight.
Right hand as Sor Rungvisai backed up. Estrada able to land. Boy, is repeatedly going jab, right hand, jab. That's not the easiest combination. I know they're 115 pounds, but how often do you see that? I mean, it's coming off fast.
Things change quickly in these lighter weight divisions. You're great until you're not. Chocolatito was great until he wasn't. We may be seeing the decline at 32 of Sor Rungvisai.
Good hooks and power shots now from Estrada. Estrada's landed. Sor Rungvisai has to make a stand. Can he? Estrada in a beautiful rhythm and winning rounds from the champ.
left. You need to throw your left. Right and then your left. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Throwing pairs, throwing combinations. Don't just throw one.
Here's an overhand right that landed for Estrada right on the button, and that's the reason Sor Rungvisai hasn't really been as aggressive. And right here, Estrada, who's been boxing beautifully, threw away 2 punches to land a hook. See, he backed up to land that hook, but Sor Rungvisai didn't give him an opportunity. Just excellent boxing on Estrada's part.
Here at the Forum, where there have been some classic fights at the lighter weight classes, we are seeing a great performance from the challenger, Juan Estrada, 29 years old. He's been through the wars with the top fighters, but now he is looking for a title at this weight class after moving up to 115 pounds. And I'm going to bring up what ordinarily would be a small point, but I think it's indicative of the lack of fire from Sor Rungvisai. At the end of the last 2 rounds, he has looked to touch gloves with Estrada each time. Have you noticed that? And Estrada isn't being disrespectful. He's just saying, hey, dude, I'm going back to my corner now. But why is he looking to touch gloves with him after every round?
I'm glad you brought that up. You may not read much into body language, but as a fighter, that's a sign of weakness. That's a sign of, okay, you want me to take my foot off the gas and take it easy on you. Estrada's not going to have that tonight.
At a certain point, all right, we've shown respect. Now we're getting after each other, and through this whole fight, Sor Rungvisai has not gotten after it. The fire has not been there, and that is just one indication.
And Sor Rungvisai is one of the hardest punchers in boxing. He's a menace. He knocks everything out. Right now, he's looking to touch hands. That's when you know he's frustrated. He's discouraged. And here's another point, Brian. In these flyweight divisions, a man with 52 fights like Sor Rungvisai, 32 might be ancient. You can just age overnight, like Chris mentioned.
Yeah, look, it is more difficult in these weight classes as you get older. You know, there's a reason why some of the older good fighters or great fighters, whether it's George Foreman or Bernard Hopkins, have been up at heavyweight or 175. You've got to be springy and fast at this weight class, at this level. And Sor Rungvisai, just whatever it is, he hasn't had it tonight.
These lighter weights, they need punch volume. They need to throw a lot of punches. That's how they win fights. They're not knockout artists. Even though we do have a knockout artist in front of us in Sor Rungvisai, but Estrada just outboxing him beautifully.
I got to tell you, I'm really not understanding the strategy with Sor Rungvisai. He switched back to southpaw for this. Now he's switching to orthodox. It seems like every exchange, he's shifting back and forth.
It's called desperation, Chris. I mean, when a man doesn't have any answers, everything that he's tried hasn't worked, it's a desperate measure on his part.
Sergio, I just don't think he doesn't have a plan. Like, what's the plan? What is he doing?
The plan got taken out of him early in the rounds. Estrada was just too sharp. In my opinion, this is a paint job by an artist.
Yeah, no, I agree with that part. But from the get-go, we didn't see the fire or the plan or some firm strategy from Sor Rungvisai. For whatever reason. Now they touch gloves.
Here's the definition of the sweet science. It's hit and not get hit. Hit, missed your punch, come back with a left hook and a right hook. That discourages any monster. Any power puncher is not gonna wanna face that type of sharp counter punching.
Trying to wake up Srisaket Sor Rungvisai in his corner. He said he's a fighter who doesn't know how to back away or back off, but he has not shown a lot of electricity in this fight. He's been flat from the get-go. Now we get to the championship rounds. Can he pick it up and save his title? Chris, how do you have it scored?
I got it pretty easily. Only 1 round for Sor Rungvisai. 9 rounds to 1 in favor of, 8 rounds to 1 in favor of Juan Estrada.
And Sergio, I'm just saying, you're right about Estrada. but I don't think it's been Sor Rungvisai who's been frustrated. He's just come in very flat. I don't know what we'll hear after the fight or in the next couple of weeks or what happened, but something is not quite right in his demeanor, in his preparation, something.
And like I said, I hope he doesn't blame weight issues, because fighters do blame weight issues on looking flat. I just think Estrada looks too good. He's well-rounded, looking great.
Estrada is, clearly gearing up for the fight of his life. He's had the big fights before. He's come up short in a few of them. Came up big against Brian Valoria. Again, that was 6 years ago. And he was able to win a title back then at 112 pounds. Now he's at 115. This is 1 versus 2. We try to explain what the landscape is in each division. Is this guy the real champ, or does this guy have a claim to it? Is there a lineal champ? No. Here it's 1 versus 2. So Rungvisai is the champ. Estrada is #1 contender. That's it. And I think that's changing here tonight.
That should maybe have been called a knockdown, because Estrada got hit with a right hand that shook him a little bit, and then it was a late reaction. I'm not sure there, but I would love to see that in slow motion.
Yeah, we'll take a look, as he spun around and you put your glove to the canvas, and that's a knockdown.
But still not enough, in my opinion. I think Estrada, to use one of your baseball terms, Kenny, is pitching a shutout.
Yeah. I think you could be right. Now he goes back to southpaw. The champion tries to answer. He's going to have to do something. His output has been reduced. He's averaging only 51 power shots a round. In the first fight, he averaged 64.
Well, look, if we're going to give Sor Rungvisai a round, this is the best round, in my opinion, that he's having. He's having some good shots with Estrada. He probably could have gotten a knockdown. I'd like to see that again. But this is the best round I've seen so far from Sor Rungvisai.
And even as he throws now, as he switches over, the left hand is his power hand. I haven't seen a hard shot from his left hand yet. I mean, look at that. Look at the left hands he's throwing. There's nothing on them. Nothing.
Sor Rungvisai is the type of puncher. Most punchers need to be flat-footed when they punch, and Estrada's not giving him a chance to set up.
So Rungvisai, as a southpaw, having a little more success this round. 10 seconds. A little more from the champion in this round.
All right, there goes the no-hitter, in my opinion.
In Sor Rungvisai's corner, they're telling him you've got to go lefty. And why it's taken them so long to realize that. Chris Mannix saw it early in the fight. Nothing against you, Chris. I'm saying you're seeing it. I'm wondering where they were on that.
I have zero credentials to be a boxing trainer.
But I'm saying you saw it. It seemed obvious, and already you can see it just changed the equation slightly in that last round. You can see in the opening seconds here of this 11th round, that was low. Estrada goes down, and he looks hurt.
Estrada got hit low there, but he stood in the pocket a little bit too long. He's been boxing beautifully for 10 rounds. Why is he mixing it up with the stronger, bigger puncher?
Rungvisai, by the way, threw 89 punches in that last round. That is the high water mark for him in this fight. Now, if that's a low blow, and it's being ruled a low blow from Ed Coyantes, that means Estrada has 5 minutes. They always say, are you good or you ready? And no fighter ever says, I'd like my 5 minutes, but you can have more time.
There's always a lot of peer pressure from the referees. Are you good? Are you good? Let's go.
I'll tell you right away, Sor Rungvisai has changed things. This looks like a different fight at the very least. Estrada is standing there, Sergio, and he's training. He wants to go, and he gets backed up. Well, the left-handed version of Sor Rungvisai looks like a different guy. How does Estrada react? He's had his way the whole night. There he goes. Right hands peppering the champ. I mean, this looks like a different fight, and it's round 11. They said go left-handed in round 11.
And I think it's more because Estrada's standing more flat-footed. He's willing to trade with a bigger puncher. I don't understand why he had so much success moving and boxing. And right now he's giving a chance to Sor Rungvisai to land something big.
I think he has that much confidence, Sergio. He takes a good hard left hand.
It's foolish confidence, in my opinion, because when you're dealing with a big puncher like that, do not give him any type of chance to get in this fight.
I think you're absolutely right, and he's got to know he's got rounds in the bank. I mean, he has stored them. He has won rounds cleanly in this fight. The championship is his to win. He just has to stay on his feet.
You know, Sergio, you know this, but in boxing, sometimes it becomes a test of manhood. I saw it with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and Sergio Martinez up big in their fight. Martinez could have cruised. Instead, he traded. Estrada wants to trade right now.
That's machismo, but you know what? Sometimes you got to throw that out the window and get the victory. It's called smart. It's called boxing. You got to be smart. You got to put the cojones aside and use your brain. Get the victory. You're already ahead in this fight.
Estrada on the verge of a career-defining win, no question.
Look, see that big hand that just Sor Rungvisai landed a big right hand right there. Estrada took it well, but Estrada can't be taking those.
Yeah, he was winging, had his eyes closed. He could definitely get caught, and that would be the only chance for Sor Rungvisai.
This will be flashes of Julio Cesar Chavez and Meldrick Taylor if Estrada gets hurt in the last couple of rounds.
Well, Estrada's face, though, is clear. He's not puffed up. He's not beaten. He hasn't taken a pounding. That's the best round of the night, no question.
I love seeing this from a veteran and a champion like Sor Rungvisai. He knows he's behind every round. Resort to something that's illegal, low blow, because something like that could sway the confidence and the bounce from a step, and maybe that's why Estrada is standing flat-footed, because of that low blow.
12th and final round. Will we see the championship change hands? Srisaket Sor Rungvisai with 3 minutes to go to try to keep his title. Chris, how do you have it scored?
We've got it 8 rounds to 3 in favor of Juan Francisco Estrada. The smart move would be to move during this round.
Yeah.
But of course, that's not what we're seeing.
Sergio, I was thinking, if you're in the corner as you see the punches landed, that's all Sor Rungvisai in round 11. If you're in the Estrada corner, it's like, box this guy. Do not go near him.
If I was Jose Caballero, his trainer, I'll be yelling at him, move, get on your bike. I'll be like Angelo Dundee, dance.
Now they're trading. Sor Rungvisai able to land. Last gasp. Turns back to orthodox, where he has not had success. And Estrada lands 3 shots immediately. Why would he move back again, Sergio? Why would he go back? I mean, in the last, he had the best output in the 11th round fighting southpaw. It completely switched the fight around. Estrada looks different even facing him, and now he goes back again.
That's a question. That's a question that Chris Mannix could ask, because I'm confused myself.
Doesn't make sense, because here it's a very different fight. The southpaw version of Sor Rungvisai.
That southpaw version gave Estrada a lot of problems in that first fight.
Halfway through the final round here at the Forum. This place has seen some classic fights going back to the 70s. This has been a good one. It will be something that Estrada, we believe, will remember forever. High watermark of his career. Put everything into his training, and it has shown up on Fight Night.
This was considered a Fight of the Year candidate last year, but here's the question, guys. Who had the better fight, Roman Doheny or Sor Rungvisai and Estrada?
It's tough to beat that last fight, as far as action. But here it's a crowning moment. And again, this is for a Ring Magazine title. This is showing that this is the man who beat the man. Chocolatito was the man, the champ. Then it's Sor Rungvisai. And after tonight, it is likely Juan Francisco Estrada, the king, at 115 pounds. Final seconds.
10 seconds.
Yeah, maybe not a shutout, Sergio,
but a pound-for-pound performance.
Yep. Estrada trying to finish with a flourish. And did he do enough? It certainly seems so. it again! Well, they're lifting up Sor Rungvisai to answer Estrada's celebration. But you know what, Sergio? I mean, where was the fire rounds 1 through 7? It was not there.
Estrada extinguished that fire with the sharp counters and everything else. But we're going to find out if weight was an issue or any injuries were a problem. But for me, Juan Francisco Estrada with a pound-for-pound, great performance, moving, boxing, and fighting and gutting it out towards the end.
Well, I think both things can be true. Estrada was terrific from the outset. But Sor Rungvisai, flat from the start, did not have the fire, the body language, the acquiescing here and there and looking to touch gloves and keep it sportsmanlike, and it already was sportsmanlike. Just a surprising performance from the super flyweight champion. Estrada, though, delivered on everything he said he would, Sergio.
Yes, he did. I mean, he boxed early. He started fast. He went for the knockout when he had his man somewhat hurt. And he stood in the pocket in the later rounds, which I didn't agree with, but it shows the bravado, the gallo in him. The gallo in him came out, the rooster.
It was also you see the low blow there from Sor Rungvisai. Estrada able to weather that storm. And that was one of maybe 2 or 3 rounds that Sor Rungvisai was able to win. But Estrada, he was composed. He picked his spots. He picked the spots where he wanted to show the fury. And it was just a tremendous boxing performance. Let's go to the ring and Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds, correction, make that after 24 rounds of magnificent boxing in the super flyweight division, we go to the scorecards for Chapter 2. Alejandro Rochin scores it 116 to 112. Craig Metcalf has it 115-113. Gerald Ritter, 115-113. All to the winner by unanimous decision. Damas y caballeros de Mexico, the new WBC Super Flyweight Champion of the World, El Gallo, Juan Francisco Estrada.
Juan Francisco Estrada is the champion of the world at 115 pounds, and he earned it. Totally earned it.
Against the monster.
WBC champ, Ring Magazine champ, the man, however you want to put it, undisputed champ. There'll always be some dispute, but he's #1 in this division, and everything now goes through him. He's fought the best, he's lost to the best, and he's beaten the best. This, though, is the career win. Do you agree?
Yes, absolutely, and it was fun to watch because that was a brilliant, brilliant performance by El Gallo. Unbelievable.
Let's take a look at the CompuBox numbers. Juan Francisco Estrada was very active, threw over 1,000 punches. There it is, 1,019 punches. Outlanded Sor Rungvisai and just had the better of it the whole night. Landed shots, the power shots even, and that's Sor Rungvisai's department. The power shots, that's usually all him. And it wasn't tonight. Outlanding him by a good 40-something shots as well. Respect and from both sides. I just wonder what we'll hear from Sor Rungvisai as to his future, where he wants to go, and just what happened tonight. I don't want to make too much of it, but he didn't seem like the same furious warrior that he has been.
Well, he's a humble man. Let's see if his humility makes him tell the honest truth and just say, I was outmanned, outboxed by the better fighter tonight.
Our new champ is in the ring with Chris Mannix. Chris.
Juan Francisco, congratulations. You have been waiting for more than a year for this opportunity. What does this mean to you?
¿Qué significa esto para ti?
Estoy muy contento, gracias a toda la gente que está apoyándome aquí, a todo México, a todo el mundo.
He's crying. Thanks everybody, thanks the people from Mexico for supporting me.
In the last fight, Sor Rungvisai was the more active fighter in the earlier rounds. In this one, you were by far the more active fighter. Was that the biggest adjustment that you made?
lejos desde el principio.
Sí, la verdad que venimos con el equipo muy bien preparados, eso fue lo que nos llevó a la victoria.
We can hear 100% prepared. And let me ask you something. You have pain in your hands. Dijo que le dolían las manos. He have hair in both hands.
In the last fight, we saw a lot of Sor Rungvisai fight as a southpaw. Early on, he fought orthodox. Did that surprise you?
Pero se te cambió de guardia también. ¿Te sorprendió?
No, al principio porque se puso de derecho siempre al principio, me sorprendió en ese aspecto, pero para mí es más fácil pelearle un derecho. Toda la preparación la hicimos contra zurdo, pero ya sé pelearle a las dos guardias.
Yeah, he surprised me because he's always lefty, but I can feel very good with right-handed, so no problem.
In the later rounds, it felt like ringside that you were up on the scorecards. But in those last couple of rounds, you continued to trade in the middle of the ring with him. Why did you continue to fight that way?
Que estabas arriba de las tarjetas, te fajaste al final.
Sí, yo quise demostrarle a la gente que bien preparado, desde el primero hasta el último round tiro golpes. Mis manos están inflamadas desde el segundo round. Me duelen, pero saqué mi corazón de mexicano.
Yeah, I stand in the middle because I love to show to the people that I'm here. He has pain in both hands, but he needs to show to the Mexican people and everybody.
You have had two terrific fights with Sor Rungvisai. Does this rivalry need a third fight, or is there someone else that you want to fight?
¿Otra con él, una tercera o con alguien más?
Yo le daría la oportunidad, porque no, el que sea. Me gustaría enfrentar a un campeón para unificar, pero si quiere la revancha se la vamos a dar.
If he wants the third fight, I'm going to get him to the fight. But I prefer first some other champion to unify.
Congratulations, Juan.
Felicidades, Gallo.
Muchas gracias. Saludos a toda mi gente de México, a todos los que vinieron a apoyarme. Muchas gracias.
Hey, Mexico, thanks for the support to everybody in Mexico, especially Puerto Peñasco, Sonora, México.
Brian?